Hello, I'm Tina. I am a brand identity and storytelling coach, and today I am going to show you how to create 30 proven carousels in 30 minutes using Poppy AI. Creating carousels is my bread and butter. Literally, if I had to only create reels, I don't know where my head will be. So finding a system that allows me to do this fast while still preserving my voice, preserving my brand guidelines, keeping in mind that my content needs to speak to an ideal audience, right? And the thing with most AI tools is that even if you train them, even if you prompt them beautifully, the results tend to sound rather generic over time. So Poppy AI is the only tool that I have found allows me to preserve most of my voice with very minor refinements. When you log into Poppy, this is how everything's going to look like. So this is your home, your interface. And what we're going to do first is that we're going to click here on New Board. And it gives you the weirdest, funniest names for the board. So this one is called Turquoise Dragonfly. Now, what you're going to do before diving into asking Poppy to create anything for you is that you're going to get 4 things ready. And I'm going to show you here on a doc what they are. The first is that you're going to have your voice guidelines. And for this, you can type it and you can have a document ready, or you can actually use the microphone function in Poppy, and you can just record a voice note. So for example, if I were to say, hey, my name is Tina. I am a brand identity and storytelling coach. I create content around how to tell better stories in a way that serves strategically your brand, that creates connection, but that doesn't jeopardize your positioning, yada, 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 whatever you want to say. My tone is confident. I sound like I talk to someone across the table. I tend to use a lot of contractions. My sentences are not perfectly or grammatically approved all the time. Anything you want to say, you can say it here. And then you can just stop recording, and it's going to create an audio file like this. But for the purpose of this video, I actually have all my docs ready to go here. So we're gonna need the voice guidelines, we're gonna need your ideal client profile, and this is basically just a brain dump of the person that you want to attract with your content. How do they look like? How do they think? What phrases do they use? What problems are they trying to solve? What things have they tried? What keeps them up at night? What are they Googling at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning? Then I have my content focus, which is, this is an example of type of content that perhaps I want to create for next month. And in this part, you can drop, let's say, that you have a launch coming up, or that you're going to focus more on promoting your consulting services, or you have a special promotion going out, or you are promoting a specific product. Whatever it is, you're going to drop this here. So Poppy knows exactly what to create your content about. And you are going to get a few links from your top performing content. So if you have something that has performed really well in the past, we're going to use that. If you are at a stage where perhaps you're still exploring formats and you're drawing inspiration from formats that belong to other creators that have performed really well, we can take those links as well. Okay, so we have all of this here. And I'm going to delete this one so I can show you how it looks when you first start. Okay, now we have our chat. And what we're going to do now is that we're going to create 2 groups. The first group is going to contain the information about our brand. So our brand voice, the guidelines, the ideal client profile, and the focus that we want to take with our content. In the second group, we're going to have all the links to our different pieces of content or the reference formats that you have sourced from other creators doing something similar to what you want to do. So to create a group, just click here. I'm going to organize it. Okay, so we have the 2 groups. So using this little folder over here, you create 2 of those and you can adjust the size however you want to. So now we're going to add the 3 things that I mentioned earlier: the voice guidelines, the profile of your ideal customer, and your content focus. And we can do it in a couple of different ways. One is the voice notes with the microphone here, what I mentioned before. And the other one is using this function that works almost like the notes app on your phone. So the minute that you drag something to a group, if you drag multiple elements, when you move the group, the elements are going to move inside. And in this case, I'm going to drop the text. I'm going to create 3 of these kind of notes. And I'm going to drop the text that I have on my Google Doc that I showed you before. And here I'm going to drop the links to my carousels, to my content. You have 2 options in order to upload your media, your reference formats. Is that you can use this here and you can select, let's say, Instagram, and you can paste the link. But you can also just copy the link from your phone or your computer, and you can do Control V or Command V here on the screen, and it will just paste it there. So I'm just going to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, here we have them. So the 3 documents and the 5 formats that I want to reference. And all you have to do now is that you have to link them. So you click on that one and you drag it to the chat. You click on this dot and you drag it to the chat. So this over here, it works like Poppy's brain. This is where you connect everything. And that is why it's so useful, because you're not just prompting something out of a note or something that you said before in the chat. Like you can use reference images. If you're trying to describe perhaps a particular type of feeling that you want to evoke in your copy, this is just something else. You can link images or things that can create that connection for you. There's so much more to dive into this tool. It's really amazing. So you link these 2 groups, and now what you're going to do is that you're going to ask it if it understands everything that you've shared. So you can do this. I'm going to share with you a few prompts to confirm all of this, but basically you can just ask it, or you can even just use the voice to text function. And hey Poppy, this is Tina. I just linked 2 groups, one containing my brand guidelines and customer profile, and another group containing a group of carousels that I want to reference. I just want to ensure that you can access all the information, okay? Please let me know. Just a little faster. A lot of the times with the accent, it doesn't pick up the words properly, but I think that it does a pretty good job. So yes, it gives me a kind of like a rundown of everything that I shared. So I'm like, okay, cool, you got it. And now what we can tell it is, okay, Poppy, based on the information you have, I'm just gonna type this and then I'll show you. Okay, so based on the information you have, please create 30 carousels that are aligned to my content focus while preserving my voice, language, sentence structure, and using my ideal client profile at the front and center. Keep the carousels between 8 to 12 slides, use arresting hooks, and ensure that the second slide always creates tension without being alienating. Like that second slide is probably, the hook is always the most important part, but this second one is where they decide if they keep scrolling or not. So it's key that you add that. So now you just press enter and you let Poppy do the work. So what it's doing is that it's using the structure of the content that you have provided, and it's leveraging that as a format, as a vehicle to create the new message. It usually drops like 10 carousels at a time. And it will ask you, do you want to review this batch? Are you happy with how things are going? Or you're happy to move with the rest? Let's see how many it creates. Okay, so these are all the 30 carousels generated. And what you're going to do now is that you're going to go back and you're going to read them. And you're going to see where it starts drifting, if there's any drift in the type of wording or sentences or the language that you use. And you can refine it to say, hey, make it more conversational, or there are specific phrases or wording that I definitely do not use. And you will make that as part of the guidelines in the future to make like a hard rule to remove that. So this is the part where you refine everything. If you go to create your carousels in Canva, after you're happy with the result of how everything reads, this is where you stop. You go, you take this to Canva or to Adobe Express, or whatever platform you use to create them, and you start dropping them in the slides. But if you want Poppy to actually generate the slides, it can actually do that for you as well. So if you're feeling particularly, I don't want to say lazy, let's just say time poor, it can do that as well, because it's now integrating. So if you see here, you can choose the model that you wanted to use. So right now, Poppy is using by default Claude, which is honestly the best language processor that we have, in my opinion. But you can use ChatGPT as well. And for image generation, we can use Nano Banana Pro, which I don't know if you have used this before, but it's bloody amazing. So it allows you to take, let's say, the images that you have here as reference, or if you want to use a different image, perhaps you saw a carousel design that you liked, you can upload that image as well. And I'll show you. You can upload it, you can just drop the carousel here, or you can upload a file, I believe it is, upload media. So you can upload it this way as well. And you can ask Nano Banana to create the image for you. So for example, you can say something like, I'm gonna post this while I write it. Okay, so it's going to load all the images here. You can actually remove, because it usually just loads all of them multiple times for some reason. So you can delete them and leave one or two perhaps as a reference, or the ones you want. And you can tell it to use your image as a reference to create the first slide of your carousel, or the second slide, or the third slide. So it doesn't have the option of bulk create a ton of images. You have to do it one by one. But once you nail the design guidelines, you can just drop the next line, which is create slide 2, create slide 3. So now it thinks. Okay, now it's creating the image here. This guy is actually created the cutest freaking mascot for this tool. Okay, it takes a minute or two. And there you go. So it created the image using the exact background that I had on the carousel, using a very similar font and spacing. So from here, it's just refining it. If perhaps you want to say, use a highlight effect, like what I have on the carousels on X word, you can do that, and you can start refining as you go. So if you're feeling, if you want to save some time, you can use it to create your images as well. But that is it. That is pretty amazing with Poppy AI. I have the link listed on the caption below, and go and try and use it and let me know how you go, because it's going to save you a lot of time. This is never meant to replace your voice, your brand, and the identity that you have built. But if your business and your job is not solely creating content, but actually serving your clients, and you need to free up time, honestly, this is a no-brainer. Let me know what you think in the comments. I can't wait for you to try it.